Everybody, it's Tess. We're having a good old standard smoke sesh while I tell you about the drama that's been happening in the dead body apartment. This is probably some of the craziest drama I've been associated with in years. Grab your drink, grab your dabs, or whatever you're using, and let's get into it. Love the smell of Reclaim in the morning. It's gonna be a built-in smoking and drinking game. Take a hit or a shot every time I say Barbara. A shot or a hit anytime I say manager or management. Any variation of the word manage. Lastly, take a shot or a hit every time I say trash or garbage bag. Let's start from the beginning. There's a dead body in this apartment building complex that was not found for weeks. Wish I was joking. Man's corpse was not found for weeks on end. And I'm just gonna nip this myth in the butt right now. If you've ever heard the saying, the human body inherently knows what a dead body smells like. No, it doesn't. It's a lie from Criminal Minds. Come from an entire line of cannibals, you might, but if you're just a normal average human who don't go around smelling dead bodies, you ain't gonna know. As the weeks grew with the smell, so did the bug problem. Dead body brings in bugs to feed on dead body. The dead buddy bugs. The dead buddy bugs. During this past year, we had a bunch of pest services come out to combat the dead body bugs problem. Past summer, back in August, we'll call my friend Jessica. She came over to my apartment livid as fuck because her and her mom had gotten into it with the receptionist lady. We're gonna call her Barbara. Like I said, we had a bunch of pest services coming out during this time. We've never had a pest service come to your house. When they do come, you have to take every single thing out of every single cabinet in your entire home. In the kitchens, the bathrooms, every single thing has to be bare from the cabinet. The last pest service that came in August is the pest service that tipped my friend Jessica over the edge. Because I guess when the pest services were coming, Jessica was taking everything out of the cabinets and the cupboards and putting them in garbage bags. But then she was like leaving them in the middle of the floor without a note or anything that says, hey guys, this is just not garbage. This is the things like my macaroni and my noodles. Please don't throw this out or think it's trash, because it's not. She just left it in the middle of the fucking floor. Jessica said she'd been putting her items in these garbage bags this way the entire time, and this only became an issue with the last pest service. Regardless, Jessica's at work, the pest service people come, and they see that she has
10 garbage bags
just in the middle of her floor. Because there's no note or anything, they genuinely think, oh my god, this girl is hoarding
10 garbage bags of trash
in the middle of her apartment. The pest service people call down to the front office to Barbara. They're freaking out. They're saying, hey, your tenant is literally holding like 10 garbage bags of trash
in the middle of their floor.
We're here for pest services. It's not gonna get better if your tenants are just hoarding trash in the middle of their apartment. Unfortunately, Miss Barbara has never operated under the I just feel a little bit category. She feels a lot. She uses all of her emotions at once. Miss Barbara calls up Jessica's mom because Jessica's mom is the primary on her lease. Barbara is freaking out. And she says, your daughter can't keep 10 garbage bags of trash in the middle of her apartment. We're gonna have to talk about the eviction process or moving her out ASAP because of the condition of the apartment. That was the general gist. Daughter has 10 garbage bags of trash in her apartment. We have to evict her ASAP because we don't let people who live like that live in our apartment. Jessica's mom, rightfully so, calls up Jessica pissed as fuck. And she's like, Jessica, what's going on with the 10 garbage bags of trash of your apartment? What are you doing? And Jessica's like, what are you talking about? I don't have 10 garbage bags of trash in the middle of my apartment. It's the stuff I have to take out for the cabinets so the pest service people can come. Jessica's mom says, well, you need to call the office and tell Miss Barbara that because Barb does not think that. So Jessica calls Barbara. Unbeknownst to Barbara, Jessica's mother was literally hooked up to chemo while she was being yelled at by Barbara. So Jessica was extra pissed and extra livid. Not necessarily at Barbara, but like, I can understand why she was mad at her mom for not saying like, hi, I'm currently hooked up to chemo. Can we do this a little later? You're on chemo. You don't need to be getting stressful phone calls. The process of chemo is stressful enough. But anyway, Jessica calls Barbara. Jessica says, hey Barb, first of all, that's not trash in the middle of my apartment. That's just the things from the cabinets that I had to take out of the cabinets in order for the pest service people to come and spray in the cabinet. Secondly, why are you telling my mother that we're gonna have to evict me over this? Why can't we have a conversation? I can clean the apartment. It's gonna be okay. At which point, Barbara completely skims over the, hey, that's not trash, that's just the stuff in my cabinets, and decides that she's gonna die on a hill where she's claiming she never said that to Jessica's mom. Barbara tells Jessica, oh, I never said that. I don't know what you're talking about. I never said that we're gonna have to talk about evicting you or moving you out. So Jessica comes back with, what do you mean, Barb? What do you mean you don't know what I'm talking about? I just called my mother and my mom said that you said that we're gonna have to start talking about the eviction process because of the condition of my apartment. Barb now moved her entire apartment and everything she owns to the hill she's ready to die on. Says, I didn't say that. I don't know what you're talking about. I've literally never said those words to your mother at all. Jessica, feeling petty as she is how she tells it verbatim. Let a long pause sit in so Barbara could just hear the echo of what she said. And then I told her, well, Barb, you put me in a bad position because my mother's hooked up to chemo right now. She was on chemo when you called her, and now I'm in the position to decide that either my mother, who's hooked up on chemo, is lying to my face, or my building management is lying to my face. That's a really crappy position to be in, Barb. As you can imagine, Miss Good Barbara did not like that. Instead of like trying to rectify the situation at all, Barbara just shut down. She said something along the lines of, I didn't know your mom was on chemo. That's unfortunate to hear. We don't have to evict you. Click. Since then, Barb has not been too keen on Jessica or her mother or anything to do with them. Like I said, that was in the summertime. Fast forward to about 2.5 weeks ago. Apparently Jessica's lease is almost up, but she's getting paid more. She got a different position at her job. She was either gonna renew her current lease and just not move and save some money, or she was also looking into moving into different units within this building. In order to do all that, you literally have to set it up with the front office, which is Barb. Jessica calls the front office and says, hey, what do I need to do in order to tour a different, bigger place? I'd love to stay with this apartment agency, but I want a bigger spot. Barbara gives her all the details. She even texts Jessica all the details in order to do this. Jessica follows all the directions. Jessica even reaches out to the original, I think it's called a broker. Anyway, Jessica reaches out to the original broker, who's like the lady who showed her this apartment, so she can show her other apartments. So that lady can still be like, hey, I'm the one who brought this bitch in and get her commission. He literally set up an entire day of touring bigger apartments through this agency. Within 48 hours of Jessica setting all of that stuff up, randomly got a text message from Barbara, the receptionist. She got a text message from the receptionist of this company. Basically said, after long consideration and discussion with management, we as an apartment complex management company have decided we will not be renting to you due to your serious issues keeping the apartment clean. And here's the freaky part. Miss Barb knew that wouldn't be enough, so she threw in the fact that Jessica was late on rent one time in the 2 years that she's lived here. And when I say late on rent, I want to be very clear. She paid on the 6th. It's 1 day outside the grace period. It is very rare that in an entire 24-month period, if you pay 1 day outside of the grace period, that they're gonna evict you for that. That's typically not normal. Now again, unbeknownst to Miss Barbara, because of the event that happened in August, Jessica's mother shelled out $2,600 in the past 6 months for a cleaning service to come to Jessica's apartment every single month. We live in the city of Chicago. I can tell you right now, having a cleaning service come once a month is gonna be $340, $360 a pop without tip. Jessica's mom has foot the bill for the past 6 months on a cleaning service to come once a month to ensure that Jessica's never told from the apartment company again, hey girl, you have a problem keeping your apartment clean. Barbara doesn't know this. So when Jessica first got the text message, she really didn't even think anything of it, and she wasn't even gonna fight it. Said, Jessica, you better not just take the receptionist's text message as your cue to move out. She sits on it for a week. Another thing that always happens when you move out of an apartment complex, whether it's amicable, whether they're kicking you out, whether you decided to leave, they send you a move out email, or they will give you via letter move out instructions. The reason why they do this, y'all, it's for legality paper trail. Especially in a big city like Chicago, when you live in an apartment complex that's under a larger management. You ain't just getting a text message that it's time to move out. That's just not how it works. I said, girl, you better wait until you receive that move out email to make any moves. Jessica gets the move out email. Wouldn't you know, not a single person in management is attached to this email. Not the building manager, not someone who's in charge of the building manager, not anyone who's higher than the receptionist, in fact, in the office. The email is directly between Jessica only and Barbara. The other red flag about this, the email makes it sound like it's amicable, as if Jessica is the one who's making the decision to move out. I'm starting to talk to Jessica about the sketchiness of this, and I can see her clocks turning. Jessica decides that she's gonna send an email to the main portal of the entire management, hoping that someone other than Barbara will read this email so she can get some further answers. I love my petty Aries queen, Jessica. I love her so much. In the email that she sends to the main management portal, basically says something along the lines of like, I would love to discuss the moving out cleaning instructions because I've been doing that exact cleaning that you're citing in this document that needs to be done for 6 months, but that's why I was told I can't rent to you anymore. So I just want to make sure that when I move out, we're on the same page when it comes to cleanliness. It's a good goddamn tootin' thing she did that, because she gets an email within 15 minutes back from the building manager. The manager comes out and he's like, hey, yeah, just wanted to let you know I reviewed your email. All the cleaning that you listed sounds fine. Sounds great. Very short email. Eating right out of Jessica's hand. She's got him right where she wants. We're gonna call the building manager Smiley. At the end of Smiley's email, he did say, please reach out if you feel the need to have any further clarification. So Jessica comes back with, hello, Smiley. I did actually want to double reach back out just for some clarification. This is my favorite part of her email. She said, I do find myself a bit perplexed. Then she tells Smiley, basically, I've had a cleaning crew coming on the month every month since August. I was specifically told that the way I keep the apartment clean is not up to standard, and that's why I can't rent from you anymore. That's why y'all are telling me I can't be a tenant. But what do you mean that it's fine? A building manager comes back with, okay, I'll look into this. Did you want to renew your lease? Now hold on, Miss Barbara, because I done thought this was an informed decision by management. But here's the building manager not even knowing Jessica's situation at all. Building manager who was supposed to be informed in that decision, Miss Barbara, that you said was an informed decision by management, he's supposed to know. Jessica hit Smiley's line back. Jessica said, actually, Smiley, I've recently secured a higher paying position. So I was looking to either renew or move into a bigger unit within your building. Pay you more money, baby. Dead silence, radio silence, not 1 day, but for 2 days. Jessica don't hear shit. Jessica reaches out via email 2 days later and said, hey, Smiley, I just wanted to reach out again to see if there'd been any updates. I really loved being a tenant here and wanted to continue to do that. So I'm more than happy to accommodate a surprise inspection if that's what you need to feel more comfortable. Within 15 minutes, Smiley emails her back and says, okay, bet. I'll drop by either Friday or Monday. Friday comes and goes, no Smiley. Monday comes and goes, no Smiley. Tuesday morning, 11 a.m. Mind you, this is already outside the given window that Smiley said he was gonna come in. She gets a rat tat 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 on the door. She's knee deep in sausage and green peppers making a skillet for breakfast. She answers the door. There's a chunk of hunk out there. He's fine as hell. Jessica lets him in and she says that he's in there for less than 30 seconds. He walked in, said hello to her cat, peeked in the bathroom, and then said, yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I don't really know what Barbara was talking about. You're totally more than welcome to release here. Oh, you don't know what Miss Barbara's talking about. Because a better woman than I am. Because at that point, had I heard that, I would have been like, oh, really? Did you want to see the text messages that she sent me? Actually, that's so funny. You've never heard of this. I'd be ratting a bitch out. Especially a bitch trying to come from my fucking living arrangements. What do you mean? Within about an hour of that man leaving her apartment, she gets an email and a group text from Miss Barbara with her and her mother attached that say nothing of her not originally being able to release, but simply, I've sent the lease re-signed to both of your emails. Please fill it out promptly. Here's what I'm thinking. Miss fucking Barbara has been sitting in that receptionist chair for about 20 to 40 years on the light side. I think Miss Barb just did not like Jessica and didn't like the fact that Jessica said, hey, basically you were my chemo mom or lying to me, hate that. I think Barb thought she could get away with texting Miss Jessica.
I have serious issues keeping the apartment clean, so we will no longer rent to you.
And she can play God with who lives where. I realize I left this part out, but when Smiley came in, when Jessica was in the middle of making breakfast, super apologetic because she's clearly in the middle of like making a mess in her kitchen, and here's this guy coming to basically say, hey, are you clean enough to live here? The man didn't even comment on the fact that she was cooking or anything. When she apologized for that, he literally said, oh no, it's fine, it smells great. It's just so crazy to me that there are women like that who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s sitting in receptionist chairs, literally trying to comfort people's homes that they know they're good tenants for. I think Miss Barbara knew what she was doing. I think she was telling one thing to Jessica and Jessica's mom and telling the next thing to the building manager as to not raise any red flags. The fact that the building manager, the person who Barbara said was in the informed decision of this eviction, kick out, move out process thing, he didn't even know. And I will say this story reminds me, sometimes you do need to question shit. You need to challenge shit. You need to take shit into your own hands. I hope you guys are properly high and or drunk from the built-in drinking and smoking game that I provided. If you've made it this far, let's go ahead and put the cherry emoji down in the comments. I love that shit. I love seeing that shit. You guys so much for watching. I love you. Goodbye.